Eli and His Sons by Louis Ginzberg. Shortly, 23, before Samuel entered upon his novitiate in the sanctuary, Eli succeeded to the three highest offices in the land. He was made high priest, president of the Sanhedrin, and ruler over the political affairs of Israel. Eli was a pious man and devoted to the study of the Torah, wherefore he attained to a good old age and to high honors. 24, in his office as high priest, he was successor to no less a personage than Phinehas, who had lost his high priestly dignity on account of his haughty bearing toward Jephthah. With Eli, the line of Ithamar rose to power instead of the line of Eleazar. 25, however, the iniquitous deed of his two sons brought dire misfortune upon Eli and upon his family, though the scriptural account of their conduct may not be taken literally. The sons of Eli transgressed only in that they sometimes kept the women waiting who came to the sanctuary to bring the purification offerings, and so they retarded their return to their families. 26, this was bad enough for priest of God. Their misdeeds recoiled upon their father, who was not strict enough in rebuking them. Eli's punishment was that he aged prematurely, and besides, he had to give up his various offices. During his lifetime, his youngest son Phinehas, the worthier of the two, 27, officiated as high priest. The only reproach to which Phinehas laid himself open was that he made no attempt to mend his brother's ways. The worst of God's decree against Eli he learned from Elkanah, 28, the man of God who came unto Eli, and who announced that the high priestly dignity would be wrested from his house, and once more conferred upon the family of Eleazar, and furthermore, his descendant would all die in their prime. The latter doom can be averted by good deeds, devotion in prayer, and zealous study of the Torah. These means were often employed successfully. 29, but against the loss of the high priest's office there is no specific. The house of Eli forfeited it irrevocably. Abiathar, the great-grandson of Eli's son Phinehas, 30, the last of the high priest of the line of Ithamar, had to submit to the fate of seeing David transfer his dignity to Zadok, in whose family it remained forever. The sons of Eli brought misfortune also upon the whole of Israel. To their sins and the ease with which the people condoned them was attributed the unhappy issue of the war with the Philistines. The Holy Ark, the receptacle for the broken table of the law, which accompanied the people to the camp, 31, did not have the expected effect of compelling victory for the Israelites. What Eli feared happened. He enjoined upon his sons not to appear before him if they should survive the capture of the ark, 32, but they did not survive it. They died upon the battlefield on which their nation had suffered bitter defeat. The Philistines, to be sure, had to pay dearly for their victory, especially those who had spoken contemptuous words when the Holy Ark had appeared in the Israelitish camp. The God of the Israelites had 10 plagues, and those he expended upon the Egyptians. He no longer has it in his power to do harm. But God said, "Do ye but wait to see, I shall bring plague down upon you like of which hath never been." 33, this new plague consisted in mice crawling forth out of the earth and jerking the entrails out of the bodies of the Philistines while they eased nature. If the Philistines sought to protect themselves by using brass vessels, the vessels burst at the touch of the mice, and, as before, the Philistines were at their mercy. 34, after some months of suffering, when they realized that their god Dagon was the victim instead of the victor, they resolved to send the ark back to the Israelites. Many of the Philistines, 35, however, were not yet convinced of God's power. The experiment with the milch kine on which there had come no yoke was to establish the matter for them. The result was conclusive. Scarcely had the cows begun to draw the cart containing the ark when they raised their voices in song. Arise thou, O Acacia, soar aloft in the fullness of thy splendor. Thou who art adorned with gold embroidery. Thou who art reverenced within the holiest of the palace. Thou who art covered by the two cherubim, 36. When the holy ark was thus brought into the Israelitish domain, there was exceeding great rejoicing. Yet the people were lacking in due reverence. They unloaded the holy vessel while doing their usual work. God punished them severely. 37, the 70 members of the Sanhedrin perished, and with them 50,000 of the people. 38, the punishment was meet for another reason. At first sight of the ark, some of the people had exclaimed, "Who vexed these that thou didst feel offended, and what had mollified thee now?" 39.